I am Robert Sterling Price. I am the guy building a futurist, functionalist private starship industry. The basic starship industry will possibly consist of a $3 trillion IPO. Alright? It'll probably have as a damn it, now I can't think of anything. It's damn CIA mind control attacks on the database that feeds my mind. Let me get all my data sorted in the hard drives. Can't even have cognitive brain functions without asking the goddamn CIA overlords to let my goddamn memory. And I gotta dump a whole bunch of people on the internet that are blocking my neural pathways. Okay, let's take 3. I am Robert Sterling Price, the guy building a futurist, functionalist private starship industry, which consists of a $3 trillion IPO. This IPO produces the main asset of the entire world, which is a miniaturized starship. Each starship is 4 times the size of an F-150. It goes 0 to 100 trillion times the speed of light. It operates off the densification of the base relative matter. The base relative matter is highly transparent, structured inert, non-particle matter. As I say again, the base relative matter is highly transparent, structured, inert, non-particle form mass. Okay, so basically you got to energize the base relative matter to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle, which has blobs, voids, and particles, all varying sizes, all varying densities, and they have this one thing in common, that forces go through all this medium and impact them and change them in various ways. We've seen this by getting the CIA to make super sensitive lenses for supercomputers, and it alluded to the fact that these dynamics were real, these masses were real, and they're theoretically weighted in a RIP-based supercomputer that can operate to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle, 15 trillion times maxed out thinking on every human mind on Earth. That's a little too much information because the government's constantly breaking the law. The government will always constantly break the law. It'll never stop. It'll never be a day on Earth where every form of government is not a constant failure. So, we know what reality is. It's a dire situation. We know what's going on in outer space to a major extent. And it's pretty horrifying that we, the John Q. Public world, have got to get together pretty much in a $3 trillion IPO, my IPO, to build the futurist, functionalist private starship industry that will produce in its bottom line, after it pays all the people in power, the miniaturized starship at literally no cost to the general public. Alright, this is the bottom line of the starship industry. $3 trillion IPO. The miniaturized starship, 4 times the size of an F-150, will basically make the human race equal to the extraterrestrial. And it's the future destiny of mankind is what it's for. Whatever that you pursue. I like calling it you. I mean, you are the unfinished pyramid. And I like doing that a lot because we're really building what you cannot be right now to what you will be in the future. It's not me making money. It's not this Starship industry, but we'll make trillions of dollars. The basic Starship industry will operate off of a budget of about $2 trillion a day. That's with making literally every single thing that we can possibly make. Computer structured space fabric steel. Okay? That's 100,000 times a million times stronger than a normal pea-sized steel. You got foam metal. We use foam metal in all starships because this allows for a cavity for a secondary shield of densified computer structured space fabric non-particle matter. All right, very main assets, but we gotta have hard mass LEDs, Matterhorns, computer structured space fabric metal ejection systems that operate to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle and inject densified computer structured space fabric out far enough, long enough to get it stabilized. Pretty much the density of water when they first eject it out, and then that has to be grabbed by another pickup system of energies and teleportation forces to recoagulate that mass to density and make it a super dense, and that's basically hard mass. Basically, you got another operation just to make it stable and working in Starship to make it super dense. Forces exceed speed of light to trillions of times the speed of light in that phase. I'm just shooting all over the damn place. It's not very good. But main assets, hard mass particle reactor. We take the energies from pretty much it's going to be light, and it's going to rectify the magnetic field at destruction. Basically, light is just forces rolling through the base world of matter, and then we use this light and we organize it to destroy the magnetic field mass. Magnetic field mass is just thicker blobs dump for matter that are carrying particles and stuff. So we use the light, energize it to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. We start destroying blobs, but we got to get all this energy to coagulate and stay and stick together. So it's engineering, brainstorming right there. So you destroy blobs and put them into a new blob super mass called a hard mass, and this has forces levitating the vehicle running all systems. This will FTL supercomputer, and we've seen this on extraterrestrial craft. We've seen I've seen out my own window. I've seen a wedding cake like UFO land with 1 4-foot alien in it, but it's highly transparent and they got ripped base fabric lenses, and I can see it, and it's one of joy. When you trigger an extraterrestrial protocol, they will come down and rescue their believed distressed companion, which I've witnessed through this network. And it's absolutely amazing. They see it for real life. But what we're building is an industry that'll give mankind some equalities, not to a perfect standard as the extraterrestrials are that are here, but to a just a basic equality where humans can go from one place to another in the galaxy, and at 100 trillion times the speed of light. I have no idea how many galaxies they would dare to travel, but I'm the guy building a Futurist Functionalist private starship industry. And man, I love the subatomic realm. I love the hard mass levitator. I love the hard mass Boolean mass railguns. We take the energies and we push them up through the metal, and we densify the base form matter out of a metal. And basically, you got levitated non-perform matter, and you're basically making a spoliated mass railgun. And you can put that into a microchip. You can put that into a cannon. You can put that into a reactor, and it just pushes the power out. And that's what we need. We need power. We need a lot of power for this stuff. So we got to push it up high as we can get it, and then get it. And sometimes once we get hard mass, we like doing reactions that will we rip apart the hard mass blob that we made, and we put particles inside that void, which will super accelerate tremendous times light speed, and then it makes a dynamic going through the rest of the reaction. It's basically a hard mass particle reaction modeled in a supercomputer called the main RIP base supercomputer. And we have to do all this and prove it so that colleges and universities will acquire the knowledge. So the reason why we got to do this is because the amount of extraterrestrial activity in Earth's solar system is extreme. There's extraterrestrial peril hard mass drones. There's endless extraterrestrial espionage. Discs about the size of a dinner plate. They can get 2 feet from you and you cannot see it. It's fucking crazy the amount of espionage that aliens have. And we have to understand this to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle and then put it into a manual that someday the college people can get college level access, or in high school if you're that smart. I mean, it's just operating to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. What? Alright, back to the main assets. See, I like going on a tangent. I like doing that. It's terrible. You go down a rabbit hole. There's a lot of rabbit holes in this place. And so back to main nets. You got a hard mass particle reactor. You got pieces of metal that are atomically arranged that flow the base world matter fluid and automatically densify just a little bit. And that's basically called a matter horn. It's just like a metal horn. It's kind of curved. You kind of get the curvature of the mass densification in there, and you move the atomic. So we got to have atomic level machining, and we got to do it by the millions of cubic tons of material. Got matter horns spilling off hard mass in some cavities. Some starships will have matter horns in them that'll constantly spill out. It depends on the readiness of the starship and the starship crew. Some starships need to take off a lot faster. And others, can sit there for 3 weeks training the crew how to push a button. Others, you need some more training. Yeah, you need a lot more training. Depends on what you're trying to actually do in space or on another dark world. So, safety is always the highest priority. Okay, main assets. You got part reactors, matter horns, Peter structure, space steel. You got what we will have to at least make a couple $1 trillion today. Got levitating tractor trailer plates to make. Basically a piece of metal, piece of aluminum that has hard mass levitators in it, hard mass LEDs, computers, all that stuff to fly. Then you have a cab, then you have a trailer body, and that's a levitating tractor trailer. Doesn't use gas, doesn't use oil, and we just have to engineer the technology just to get the sources of energy. So we'll be selling all these assets to procure the bottom line. So it makes $2 trillion a day. Will be profit, all right? And then the bottom line will include the miniaturized starship produced for every person over the age of 18 on the planet. And this is my dream. It's a big one. It's complicated. It's got millions and more assets to build. You got hard mass LEDs. You got microchips that are FTL hard mass. We have to design and build hard mass FTL microchip. The standard current microchip is obsolete. We discovered the base world matter. You got to understand it, generate it in the microchip, and communicate through it at hundreds of trillions of times the speed of light. And it's a big task. What I see in the Appalachian Mountains, right? The Blue Ridge Mountains, all that in Appalachia. I see the roads, the derelict buildings, but I see a great opportunity. I'm going to take a lot of those places and tunnel out that hill and then put a hard mass FTL supercomputer in there, because we'll have them pretty fast. But this will generate non-powerful matter, and it's an FTL computer, but then it goes to outside an atomic level machining system. So we bring the machinist a piece of metal, he puts it in the holder, the vise, and this whole room, the supercomputer stays in the wall, and maybe some of the machining technology. Yeah, the wall of the cliff there, the hillside, like in Appalachia, you drive down the road and you see just a hill. That's a perfect place to store hard mass technology and have machining systems. We're going to put a lot of machinists to work going to the atomic level. Basically, you get the piece of metal in the hard mass, the computer communicates it to the trillionth scale subatomic particle through the densified non-particle matter, and we're going to have atomic level machining, which I'm telling everybody on Earth, and we're going to have a lot of Starship components made out of this region of America. Why I don't worry about Russia and China? Because this asset, the miniaturized Starship, will exponentially free their populations. See, if something happens, the flying car, the 4 times size of an F-150 miniaturized Starship, is owned by everybody. An asteroid, an alien attack, they just run to their Starship, and they take off. If the CCP starts terrorizing you and down, you get in your own personalized Starship and fly away. You can go anywhere in this damn galaxy. Anywhere you want to. So we're gonna make about $2 trillion a day, I think. We got more assets than this. I gotta think of them all to build. Oh, levitating air conditioners, computer structured space fabric systems. If you want to be a super welder and you're welding a 3-foot panel together, that's foam metal. You might have a welder that generates its own computer structured space fabric. We got it all, man. We're welding a gap 2 feet thick. You just throw in piles of metal and this computer structured space fabric just welds it all. Wow, that's a super welder. And you just bring a bobcat and take the iron ore and throw it in the gap as the welder is just welding it for you. The future. What about pipelines? Now we got access. So we got hard mass, and we mechanicalize a void in that densified hard mass. And we teleport stuff through the pipeline, the future of pipelines. And we sell this to the pipeline company, or we just buy them outright, whatever, because we're trillionaires, and change them all over. And then we have this teleportation stream going directly to a 3D printer in somebody's house. It's somebody's big block building there in industry. It's the future. The whole world can have this. Pipelines, teleportation pipelines. Any material you want, instantly put into your reservoir. Hard mass teleportation. Order it online. Get your stuff teleported through the pipeline network. Instead of teleporting gas and oil, which we don't need very much, it goes to metal, plastic, whatever. Some oil still. We can have multiple things going through a pipeline. We got it all. What about the cell phone? In order to operate a Starship, we will have to have the cell phone. We'll have hard mass antennas, base fabric antennas, dimensionalized antennas in that thing. FDL microchips, FDL AI core, and micro hard mass levitators. And boy, it goes down a tangent. So, talk about Halo armor. I got to go off on a tangent to probably go back to where I was. Halo armor, and what's coming upon the Earth? It is computer structured space fabric. Halo armor is basically a levitated supersuit, alright? That has computer structured space fabric and hard mass. That'll stop incoming bullets and rounds and energy weapon fire. They do exist in space. And so computer structured space fabric, we know that it will stop the bullet, right? We densified the base raw matter. We know the diamond. We've seen extraterrestrials, UFOs have densified non-particle matter. We know there's computers are running off this stuff, and it's FDL, hard mass. We know the aliens figured this out millions of years ago or thousands, whatever it took. But they're still way more advanced than us. And what's coming upon the Earth is computer structured space fabric to stop wars and hatred and violence. But we know that that will probably trigger the war of Ezekiel, all right? Because basically, like the nation of Israel and the Arabs, they can't shoot at anybody anymore. And the Arabs get close and try to invade Israel, and basically everybody tries to take it. So we know that in hindsight. We know that's coming. So what we're going to do is not make computer structured space around the globe yet. We're just going to build the miniaturized Starship first. Every single military operator on Earth, every single person on Earth, has got to have access to the miniaturized Starship. Depends on my audio if it's really good. I don't know. And the miniaturized Starship is the key to everything. If you have a big starship that's ran by the military and somebody's got to go work on it, it's nice to have the guy coming in his own miniaturized Starship to fix that and get that ship underway if something wrong. You know, if you need a pizza or need a bolt or something, somebody's going to take it out there and fly it to you in a miniaturized Starship if you're long range operator. The problem is with the U.S. military, you can't. The United States government has been threatened over 3 times with complete annihilation by the alien empire. The first extraterrestrial that I know to do this, which is super, said this actually occurred, which I believe it, is if the alien said, if you threaten the alien empire, we'll destroy everything to the smallest unit of our measurement. Of your measurement. I mean our measurement. So the United States government is kind of sidelined right now. They cannot do anything with space tech. Because if they threaten the alien empire, they'll come and destroy everything to the smallest unit of our measurement. That's the first threat I'm totally aware of. The next thing is, I can get away with building a Christian people to go out into space, to be peaceful, and no threat to the alien empire. No threat whatsoever. And that's what we're going down. After we colonize, get majority of people out into space colonizing, and plan A is that first step. Then we expand the colonies, more industrialize them, put FTL machining systems, got all that stuff. And then there will always be a sheriff, there's always going to be cops, there's always going to be law and order. Humanity cannot exist without that. So you don't have to worry, there's always going to be somebody throwing you in jail if you're doing something really, really bad. What's probably going to happen is after we get the colonies established, we'll have the ability to get on the flank of any major extraterrestrial force, alright? Or understand, in this region of space, alright? But the alien apex empire, the logical grid square that I can think of is about 2.2 trillion light years. Artillery the size of planets firing. So if you build a battle fleet and you fly right up the muzzle of that artillery, it's going to be destroyed. You can't attack the alien empire. It's well aware of military dynamics, and there's this thing in outer space called ultra militarists that are extremely more proficient than any military that's ever been made by man, as far as we know. And we've seen them. So super sensitive lens called a rip-based lens was hooked up to a telescope, hooked up to the supercomputer, and we've seen some vehicles out there, and we know pretty much what these things are. We know there's so much government leaks that you got to realize that there's some bigger craft out here bringing some UFOs alongside Earth, and they literally just block it out. Block it out. So these things are be leaking them. I mean, they're coming out, and it's just the government trying to do everything it can to stop stuff that it's getting from leaking, but it's still coming out, and you can't stop it. You see it, and you can't unsee it. Huh. And I don't spy. I don't need to. It's just out there. Anyway, so you have a bunch of extraterrestrials that are literally doing a scientific core mission of taking the sperm and egg from people, various people, mainly intelligent people, or different kinds. As far as we know, we have no idea what they're doing. They're taking it a long ways away. They developed that hard mass levitation, hard mass projection, computer structured space traffic, teleportation engines, 100 trillion times less. They can take it 100 galaxies away if they want. Do whatever they want with it. And it all depends on this Starship industry. Every single thing that everybody wants or needs depends on the Futurist Functionalist private Starship industry working. $3 trillion IPO, about 500 executives with voting power, about 4,000 staffers. These, once it gets all worked out, all the mechanical bugs, these staffers are going to let you come in, design your own miniaturized Starship, and get it built, and you take off, including a hard mass particle reactor for your own little settlement. That's what their main job is. They're basically going to help you do that. They're going to make $2 trillion a day. $1 trillion is going to go to worker pay. 90 million people a day get paid $20 an hour. All right? Another trillion is just $2 trillion will be made a day. $1 trillion will go to the overall assembling, get all the ore, all this junk working. But we're going to have volunteers. And we plan that 500 million people and their families want to go out in outer space. But we're going to build an ore vessel, all right? It's going to have ability to teleport mine the ground or an asteroid, whatever. And this guy takes his family, if he wants to, with this ore vessel, goes out to another solar system and starts mining that stuff out there. And he comes back. And this guy is going to be a volunteer. He just lives in that starship and goes back and forth to Earth probably about every 8 hours a day. He mines that. And he's going to have 500 million ships that are large ore-carrying vessels. You can have your family, but your main job is to teleport ore to this monstrous, exponentially expanded, exponential subatomic revolution economy. That's what we're going to do. 500 million people that will do that. And they'll be volunteers. We can't, if we can pay them somehow, if we make more than several $1 trillion a day in all this industry, I just can't imagine it. I could probably barely get out $2 trillion when I'm changing everything over from to hard mass particle reactors. But I gotta constantly make money. It's only going to pay for like 90 million people at $20 an hour a day to get this shit off the ground. Okay, so now we got the base of ore production, every single thing that could possibly come into the coffers of the world. But we're going to have FTL travel, but we're going to get 2.2 billion construction workers to go out into space and literally build houses and infrastructure on other Earth-like worlds. You need hard mass FTL communications, hard mass teleportation of water, FTL AI cores to be set down, particle reactors for cities and towns. We're going to put an FTL hard mass computer in every single hospital if we can. That will allow for the operation on the human body to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. This will be able to take out flows of non-porphyry matter, going to cancers or diseases and virus. We can literally shut every virus in that human body down if we take that mass and energy away from that virus. We can deaden that virus in your body instantly. We'll be operating to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. What they don't realize is there's a constant flow. It's called the subatomic drift of non-porphyry matter through the human body in various forms. And you'll have pretty much free healthcare. If you get healthcare, you pay for the doctor basically. There's probably not going to be any insurance anywhere, but you just pay for the doctor to tell you or help you operate the suit or something. They can make a lot of money still. With this advanced technology, they can do operations that you can't imagine. It's coming out. It's eventually starting. Computer structured space fabric, hard mass injected. I have a lot of experience with the extraterrestrials. And the government knows about it. That's crazy. That's extremely personal. But anyway, this is what it's all about. All the espionage in the world. And we got to get it started. And we're not going to allow any socialism, communism, global dictators to take root. It's just you and your miniaturized starship and a representative government and republic for every 50,000 people. But we will provide for a sheriff, allow for basically, if the United States Congress allows us to start this, and they allow people to colonize under American law, basically American colonization effort where you have the Constitution of the United States being upheld and used by the people. Basically, just the Bill of Rights. That's about it. That until you get legal representation, governors and representatives to vote for your local laws and stuff, and taxation and stuff. So it'll be free for probably several decades till you get it all organized. That's not bad, but you still be under some scrutiny. We'll have to fix it all. Yeah. I got to get the Starship going. Yep. Hard mass levitated, computer controlled particle projection, teleportation, Starship engine. And then we have the vehicle's got internal computer structured space fabric, so you can turn at FDL faster than light. And you got a project hard mass in front of the vehicle and a beam that will exfoliate into the shield. They compensate the shield. It's like a pre-shield before the main shield, but it has secondary shields. And this engine power is exponential engine power. 1,000-mile control at the back. It's called computer structured space fabric. And this computer structured space fabric will turn like a rudder too. It'll all be connected to the pilot's or the computer's desire to move the vehicle correctly. There's about miniaturized Starship is what we're talking about. There's about 6,000 tons off the ground because it's exponential. It's densified thousands and thousands of tons of non-porphyry matter, and it has forces going through it, trillion times speed of light, lifting 6,000 tons off the ground like it's nothing. And that's what you do out there. You go make money, run away and hide, and you better build the garden. Better be a farmer. I mean, you'll start it. It's not hard taking care of animals or nothing. It's just got to be a good person doing it. So there's many assets that the Futurist Functionalist private starship industry will be building. We will sell the flying car too. We will sell all medium starships, all big star. Now what we really make money on after the bottom line of the flying car, the miniaturized Starship goes out. This big hard mass levitators assets. We take like a concrete tunnel or a sewer, and we make a giant grid, and then we bolt skyscrapers into it, and then basically we make a flying city. All right, we build these flying cities, and they go to another Earth-like world, and they help colonists, colonize. The main assets now is what I'm talking about now. Hard mass levitated projected small towns. It's in millions, billions of dollars. And we sell them. We rent them out. We rent houses. Now, there's so much extraterrestrial stuff in space that somebody may go to a derelict extraterrestrial station or alien battlefield 1,000 light years across, build a habitat on a piece of metal, float it around, whatever the hell you want to do. And that rent might be free. But some of these cities and towns that we're building, that you'll definitely get a drone supply convoy of food and replenishment and products made from planet Earth, grain, wheat, whatever you need. You'll have everything. Nothing is going to be left behind. Nobody is going to be left behind. And nobody is going to be where they cannot talk to somebody else. It'll be the exact same first world for every single body on Earth. You have a cell phone, it's a priority. You won't really have to pay a bill after you acquire the phone. It'll work indefinitely. And some houses, you've got big storms rolling in, they might have shields. Now the flying car will produce its own localized shield, but I don't know how you want to use it. This is going pretty damn far. The main assets are big flying skyscrapers, levitating cities and towns, going to space. So if after we establish a industrial base on the moon and Mars, we'll let people buy the small towns and cities. So what we'll do is make a hard mass levitator. All right, it's a metal box, and it goes onto a module for a Mars and lunar base. It takes that whole module to the moon and Mars, less than 24 hours. It flies fast, flies really fast. And we build an industrial base for our operations. So we have to have ore coming in from the moon and Mars constantly. We have to mine it correctly. You have to mine it in regards to human perseverance on the moon and Mars. And we have to have people actually figure out what the hell that is. But but we have to have ore coming in first. So the moon and Mars will be industrialized first. But then if you want to build a small town or city, if you can build it on planet Earth, levitate it from planet Earth to the moon and Mars and set it down and rent it out, whatever. That's capitalism. And you can go to the moon and Mars, you can rent it, rent the buildings, or go to the shop at or whatever. I wouldn't put too much hopes in actually staying there right now, because it'd be kind of cost prohibitive until the whole human race's market viability, or just market viability is actually fluctuating correctly or more appropriately. But I'm not sure what that term is. I don't know. So we're going to try to put 500 modules on the moon and Mars in a very short order with one hard mass levitator. It's just a metal box that's computer controlled that can capable of lifting a 2 or 4 story tall module. These are not small. These are 4 stories. Some big buildings. Windows, got everything. It's dwarfing the International Space Station in 2 modules. They've got 500 for the moon and Mars, and we're going to cancel probably all major construction projects on Earth and just hire everybody. With 90 million people being paid at $20 an hour, we've got $1 trillion plus a day coming into the assets. Probably 1,000 to 10,000 different factories, machinists. You can't imagine that thousands of machine shops making a component to the atomic level in Appalachian. We can take anybody and put a piece of metal in front of them. What this metal has to do is flow the base raw matter through it, energize it, densify it, and use it for this particular purpose. We take this piece of metal and we plug it in here, and it's going to feed a FTL supercomputer, or it's going to feed in a super system that has to have this type of energization. The LED is the primary way, the best, easiest way to get densified non-polar matter. That's the first way, the easiest way right now. But we will have so much computing power, so much, we will easily be able to make that out of more metal, more robust components. You've got to make a whole bunch of components instead of thousands, tens of thousands of atomic level machines in Appalachia, and we're going to have to get this made all over the world. We're going to be making atomic level machinings. You got 100 different types of steel that need to be understood how they actually flow non-polar matter. So we got to gap this molecule, this particle, while the base raw matter flows to it, densifies, and you know what? We can shoot the photon. A photon is just a wave of energy going through non-polar matter and ripping off a blob of non-polar matter. That's basically a photon. An ion is literally just an energized blob of non-polar matter, but it's so dense and heavy it does not travel fast light. It just goes somewhere. Or now there's an ion. There's multiple. There's exponential affinity types of blobs, voids, and particles, which are called a structured similarity. You operate to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle and manipulate them. You gotta have an FTL computer to actually be able to rip apart the space fabric. You gotta have rip space fabric sensors, rip space fabric electrical components that can allow people to see that without cooling the mass down, without heating it up. See, what they do is they cool something down so they can see the atoms, but they're missing all that non-polar matter and that flow of non-polar matter that's just going through everything. The base raw matter is what's responsible for relativity, right? That's what's giving that particle that relativity so it can accelerate, what's giving it the nucleus, the electrons, all that. The base raw matter is everything. That's what we manipulate. We got more jobs. It's like 2.2 billion construction workers after the construction vehicles get going. 500 million international flyers. I'm trying to produce 100 million miniaturized starships a day in computer structured space fabric a day. Yes. So basically, how market dynamic occurs. Like, I can only buy so much ore from the standard market. I'm going to cheat and steal. I'm going to take a volcano. I'm going to send a hard mass beam down that volcano. I'm going to teleport all the iron out of the freaking volcano. Like Iceland or Hawaii or hell, Krakatoa or I'm thinking of Yellowstone National Park, that big caldera. I'll have a teleportation drill teleport all that metal out, so I get that metal and I produce 100 million flying cars a day, and I build my economic base. The Starship industry builds the platform, which is the miniaturized Starship, so they can make more money. That's the big deal. This platform has got to be built so we make more money. And the base raw matter is what causes heating and cooling. It's not CO2, guys. It's never was. They just lied about spraying atomized aluminum in the atmosphere for so long and blamed it on CO2. And basically, that atomized aluminum is basically like a magnet, goes down into the ocean and kills those little creatures in coral that do have blood. They have blood in those little bitty pieces of coral, little bitty animals that make that coral, and that's what kills them. It's super saturating the water with atomized aluminum, basically, and that causes people's suicide rates to go up, because when atomized aluminum goes into the body, it destroys the the blood and shut your function down. So we got a lot of atomized aluminum spray and stop. You know, we got a lot of it stopped. Trump stopped a lot of it, okay? And this war's describing the government atrocities on planet Earth. It just goes down in a dark place. So we're going to free people from the tyranny of other people with the miniaturized starship. And that's what's coming down the line. An exponential subatomic revolution. An exponential subatomic revolutionary economy. After we get it all done. And just wasting my time. I wasted your time? Who cares? I do care. I'm going to try this first video. Yep. Probably. Who knows? I don't know. This is my first attempt to do this, so. This is what it's all about, though, so you know. It's the most important thing in the world. It's you. It's you being the unfinished pyramid. It's you. It's not governments. It's not secret societies. It's not foundations of made by man. It's whatever you are going to be. It's weird. I don't know. One thing. We got so much stuff to make, so many contracts to write. We're going to tire almost the entire world. Every microchip coming, every industry, everything. It's coming for everything. And we got to leave the groundwork for future generations and a new military apparatus that can actually understand extraterrestrial technology to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. Like we have to leave that legacy behind. But we colonize first, and 80 years go by. That colony grows. 2 generations, 40 years. 2 generations, 40 years go by. That's what the military brass don't like. You gotta wait 80 years before we start building advanced military assets. They really want it right now, but 80 years after colonization, and then you can go out and be a military soldier again. We got to shut it down, cool it off, planet Earth, and build the miniaturized starship before we put computer structured space survey out, and that automatically starts the War of Ezekiel, and which stops all bullets and stuff flying, artillery and missile stuff on Earth. It's extremely important that we get the flying car first. Exponential freedom from exponential powerful people. That's what it's about, but the future world's coming, and this should build the innumerable Christian sea people. Where this came from is that I fell in love with the Starship after I got the largest runway on Earth at the time made in Area 51. And, damn it, I'm drawing a blank. But I literally went through a veil of fire and got this from Jesus Christ himself, because he was made of love, alright? And he loved to give me what I loved to receive. And through that relationship, I loved him, he loved me, and I got an exponential subatomic revolution from him. I cannot describe it any other way. Jesus Christ is made out of the substance of love. You will never understand it. I mean, I still can't understand it. I've met him. And he, probably a decade or so later, I had my problems, and he came and pulled my iniquity out of me in the middle of the night. With his disciples came first. They live. No one has ever truly died. I can't comprehend it. But it's like, I don't know if I was dead or alive, but I heard the disciples. I seen them. They just looked like biblical men. And Jesus Christ had a carpet, like a rug on his face. But then I was too scared to death to look at him. And he took it off, and I just turned away, and it was bright. I did not see him directly, but he took his hands and pulled my iniquity out of me. That is, and all my suffering, all my stress and agony and torture from the CIA detrimental victimization roasting price, it's gone. I mean, I don't get stressed out or tortured anymore by the CIA or government anymore. I was tortured since I was 5, I'd say that. And, he removed it. He moved my iniquity. It's like black darkness, the shadow. The light of God is shining on something, and there's shadow. That darkness, he can remove that. I'm pretty sure that guy, if you want your tattoos removed by Jesus someday, his hands can remove them out of your skin like there's nothing. Can't imagine. He can do the impossible. It's undescribable. I had my iniquity removed. I'm the man blessed by God to build this Starship industry that will make the Christian sea of people. And that should fulfill the word of God in its due time. But we got a lot of work to do, and we can't all do it in an hour or a day. And that's what it's all about. And we know we have to build the entire Starship first. Everybody's got to have their own individual freedom first. And ability to get energy. And you can move to any star in the known universe. And still expect to be serviced by a hard mass FTL traveling drone with food or water or whatever. Clothing. They gotta ship clothing out to people. It's on my hat and belt. Oh, we got teleportation beams to make that teleport derelict starships to the research center. Maybe make a base in space so they can go out there and study an alien-made piece of metal, whatever the hell they want to. Then you got hard mass FTL rift-based rabbit scanners that analyze that piece of metal and all that junk. Scientific equipment. What is it? Everybody's going to go out there and colonize, and everybody on Earth is going to have a job. We're going to wipe out homelessness. Everybody on Earth, every human, is going to have a home. A flying car, miniature starship, settlement on some other planet. You get 50,000 people. We're going to use the American statehood method. 50,000 people. You vote for a governor, vote for statehood, sheriffs, representatives, etc. And have a representative government only. All dictators are banned. Socialism, communism is banned. You have to have a title and ownership of this. We won't allow people to take over an entire planet. No. Just make a state on a planet, and that's good enough. We don't want the entire world to be conquered by any one civilization, because we have to maintain exponential freedom to maintain an exponential amount of income. And that's what it's all about, too. Alright. I'm Robert Sterling Price, starting the Futurist Functionalist private starship industry. And this is a test of me just rambling on. What I usually do all the time anyway. Talk to myself. That's, I don't know. Deep thought. There's many things to do